Hi, this is Garrett Gunderson, and glad that you continue to visit and learn. And for those that are just first time they're seeing a video, this is about money tips. This is about recovering cash. This is about you building wealth. This is about you taking control of your financial future, of your cash flow in the present, because for most people, they don't have a lot of knowledge around financial literacy. And I'm nerdy enough, I'm a big enough dork that I love this stuff. It makes sense to me immediately. But don't get me in technology, because then I would be totally lost. So this just happens to be where I'm a bit gifted, and I hope to bring you a very succinct and a very clear way to put money back into your pocket. One of the topics that is, brought up most of the time, and there's plenty of misinformation out there about, is debt. And I'm talking about loans, and I'm talking about interest that people pay. One of the statements I hear all the time is, hey, those who understand interest earn it, and those that don't pay it. That's only part of the story, because the financial institutions pay more interest than anyone I know, but they earn a lot more than they pay. So don't let limited information be a construct for you that constrains you with your financial decisions. What I'm going to talk about now has more to do with philosophy. Then I'm going to get very practical on what you can do to implement things to save dollars today. But some people think that all the time, if you're borrowing for anything, that means debt. Debt is actually a condition or a state where you owe more in liabilities than you have in assets. That's debt. When you have more assets than liabilities, even if you owe money, that's called equity. And so debt is really a condition when we don't manage our relationships properly, when we don't create enough value in the world, or when we make mistakes financially because we were gambling or chasing a rate of return. That creates debt. Debt is really a tax on the lack of understanding we have, because let's say we're involved in a project or with people that are draining our energy. That's creating debt that's eventually going to show up financially. So the source of debt is more a condition of the person. If you're in the consumer condition where you're always looking to take more than you give, you will get into debt. If you're in the producer paradigm where you're always looking to contribute more than you take, you will get into equity. So it begins with you as an individual first. Now, the strategies behind this. There are faster ways to pay off debt. There are situations where people owe a lot in credit cards, and I'm going to give you one tip right now that if you have any credit card debt, could be so useful. For example, if you just were to call the toll-free number or call a number on a statement from your credit card company and say, I want to lower my interest rate, the chances of that happening are slim to probably none. But if you know these magic words, you call and you say, I'm thinking about canceling my credit card, and if they transfer you to another division, that's someone you can negotiate to get a better interest rate with. Or if you're late on your payments or you're struggling to make payments, if you call up and say, I'm going into default, or I don't know how I'm going to make my payments, is there someone I can talk to? Now they're going to transfer you to someone that has the authority to deal with lowering the interest rates. So when you get the right person, now you can talk about what can you do to get a lower interest rate? What kind of deals do they have that are coming out right now? What can you do to minimize the amount of obligated cash flow you have going to them? And a lot of that's going to be reducing your interest rate. And then what you want to let them know is at that point you could continue to make payments, or at that point you could start to make some progress rather than to go further into the hole. So you got to use those magic words. I'm thinking about canceling my card, or I might be going into default, and all of a sudden you get transferred to the right department with someone that can actually help you. If you do that, that could save you plenty of interest. Now, if you've got a home mortgage and you're looking to refinance that and you have good credit, you can investigate a streamlined refinance if interest rates are better on the streamline than what you currently have. So that's going and calling your existing lender, asking who you could talk to about a refinance, and asking for a streamline so you don't have to go through all the expenses and all the costs. And that's just going to be a company to company type thing. Some companies will do it, some companies won't. You can do the same thing with your car loans. You can just call and see, are there better deals? Are there better interest rates? And you could do a refinance. And a lot of times you could do that without a lot of cost, without a lot of hassle. But there's other times on the mortgage where they're going to want an appraisal, where they're going to want to do all this other stuff. So it's at least worth the phone call to see if you can get better interest rates. And by lowering those, keep more cash flow in your pocket, be in a better financial situation for it by taking a little bit of action and knowing the right things to say so that you get to the right department. So that's a strategy, but if you're in debt and finding yourself that way, make sure that you get clear about how you got there and what lessons you could learn from that and why that would have happened so that you can get to the source And it's really about, are there relationships you need to terminate? Are you in the wrong profession and wrong job? Are you trying to keep up with the Joneses, or always trying to have more, and it's about materialistic goods rather than looking within and discovering who you are and your purpose? And if you find those areas, it's about eliminating those debt relationships that drain you, that hurt you, and either transforming them into better, more productive quality relationships, or eliminating them from your life as far as spending daily time and allowing that mindset to infiltrate you. For some, that relationship might be the media. It might be turning on the news and hearing the word calamity and catastrophe and disaster and depression and recession. And that relationship hurts your mentality, and then all of a sudden you're not taking as productive actions. All of a sudden you're living out of fear rather than based upon production, rather than based upon value creation. And see, so debt is more of a state of being and the actions we take than a credit card, than a mortgage, than something we borrowed. There's something at the source of that. But there are techniques, and I'm going to be filling you in on more, one of them being called a cash flow index, so you can know what is the best way to pay off debt that you've already incurred, and what liabilities are good to keep because they don't hurt you if you know what you're doing. It's all dependent upon the person. I'm going to give you the tips, the techniques, the strategies, but most importantly, a clear philosophy that can guide you and help you navigate these muddy waters so that you have clarity, you have peace of mind, and you have the power and prosperity that you deserve.